October 2024. A storm formed under near-perfect conditions, and in less than 24 hours it would become one of the most powerful hurricanes ever recorded in the Gulf of Mexico. But Hurricane Milton wasn't just about intensity, it was about unpredictability, compounding disasters, and a worst-case scenario that nearly came true. In early October, a tropical wave entered the Western Caribbean, eventually organizing in the Bay of Campeche. By October 4th, it was designated Invest 92L, a system showing early signs of rotation but still disorganized. What made the system different was the environment around it. Sea surface temperatures in the Gulf were running well above average, and atmospheric conditions were unusually calm. That combination set the stage for what meteorologists call rapid intensification potential. On October 5th, the system quickly organized into Tropical Storm Milton. Normally, storms strengthen gradually, but Milton was entering a region with extremely high ocean heat content, meaning warm water extended deep below the surface, not just at the top. This allowed the storm to draw massive amounts of energy without cooling itself down. And what happened next stunned forecasters.
What was forecasted to be an insane hurricane has even gotten crazier as Hurricane Milton continues to rapidly intensify in the Gulf of Mexico and is forecasted to become a Category 3 hurricane today and could become a Category 4 or even 5 hurricane tomorrow as it continues to move towards Florida.
The official forecast is, of course, for a 155 mile per hour Category 4 storm. However, I really do believe that this could very well be a Category 5, maybe even by the end of today, not even tomorrow, and then it could be a high-end Category 5 by the time it gets to this area, especially if it continues to strengthen in the unbelievable fashion that it has so far.
Just an incredible hurricane. It has dropped It has dropped 50 millibars in 10 hours. I apologize. This is just horrific.
Milton rapidly intensified from a tropical storm into a Category 5 hurricane in under 24 hours. Winds reached 180 miles per hour, and the pressure dropped to 895 millibars. That pressure reading placed Milton among the top 5 lowest pressure hurricanes ever recorded in the Gulf of Mexico. And in hurricanes, pressure is everything. The lower the central pressure, the stronger the storm. A pressure of 895 millibars means the atmosphere at the center of the storm was extremely unstable, allowing air to rush inward at incredible speeds. For context, most hurricanes never drop below 950 millibars. Milton wasn't just strong, it was operating in a rare tier of extreme storms, comparable to historic Gulf hurricanes. And storms this intense don't just bring wind, they reshape coastlines. And it was heading right towards Florida.
Hurricane Milton is expected to make landfall as a powerful and intense hurricane in Florida today, and the National Hurricane Center even warns that this could be the most destructive hurricane that West Central Florida has ever seen.
And they would be right, because what followed as Milton approached Florida will never be forgotten. Something that was not accounted for. Something that was not expected. Something that came as a surprise to many. A full-on Midwest tornado outbreak.
This is an urgent alert. A tornado.
The reason why we are live much earlier than I
immediately.
anticipated is because we actually have a tornado on the ground. You can see it live at the bottom right of your screen. This is going to be just off to the west of Fort Lauderdale. This is happening live in the middle of a field right now, but we do have a tornado that was actually large at one point that is starting to become a little bit smaller, but it is on the ground currently just to the west of Fort Lauderdale, very rural areas north of I-75. And then we also have one back near Hendry, Broward, Palm Beach, and Collier counties that is also a radar indicated tornado warning. Today is a day that you want to be taking seriously when it comes to the tornado threat, so make sure if you are in any tornado warnings today that you do seek shelter. This is live again in Florida.
We've had to start our stream early today because, man, we've got a bunch of tornado warnings. Right now, we have a confirmed tornado warning. I mean, we've just got a couple of different tornado warnings to go over before we go into the hurricane overview. But in order to cover this whole event, it looks like we're going to have to go much longer than 12 hours because we've got a big-time tornado threat unfolding right now ahead of Milton. Milton's still, off the coast of Florida. It's going to make landfall much later tonight, early tomorrow morning. But I've got a feeling that we're going to have a lot of really, active weather in Florida leading up to the landfall.
What?
This is an emergency alert. A large and strong tornado is on the ground.
We have yet again another particularly dangerous situation. Another large and strong tornado is in progress, and that is why. There is a large and strong tornado that has just dropped near Monkey Box. Large and extremely dangerous tornado that is moving north right now towards 721 and will be moving also towards Route 70. So if you're anywhere in this tornado warning, you need to seek shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, and yet into an interior room of your home or building. This is again another large and extremely dangerous tornado. Big debris signature right now over Monkey Box. So this storm has already had a history of producing a large tornado. And this was just moments ago, just to give you an idea of what we just had. This was from, again, Cam the Yam 64 on Twitter. This was in Clewiston, which this is where this tornado happened about 20 minutes ago. That was what it looked like. It was a relatively large tornado, and it's probably going to look the same right now.
The most impressive storms that we have right now, though, are these three over here to the north of Lake Okeechobee. And this is one of the more serious tornado warnings that you'll ever find yourself in Florida. All right, so big time tornado down here near the J.H. Hendry Farms Airport. Basically, let me zoom out here. These are our three areas of most concern. I believe that these two have tornadoes on the ground right now. This one is trying to form one, okay? So that's the overall situation that we're dealing with right now as we await the landfall of Hurricane Milton.
And then, the worst possible case scenario took place. An EF3 through a populated part of Florida.
So right now, just west of Fort Pierce, about to cross over the I-95 again there, due west of the city and due west of St. Lucie. That track is going roughly north-northeast, so it's going to bring it into heavily populated areas. It does have a little bit of debris that's just started up on the last scan. I am scared to see what it looks like on the next scan, so I really hope everyone is taking shelter here. Once again, please be ready to be in shelter in Vero Beach, Viking, South Beach. Y'all watch out. I just saw the new scan, sorry. Please call people here and get them to take shelter. This is unbelievable.
Let's go full cam. Let's full cam that storm surge. Never mind.
This is an emergency alert. A large and strong tornado is on the ground. Seek shelter immediately.
That is not good. This is a very populated area. Oh man, guys, we got a huge tornado on the ground. Huge tornado on the ground near I-95. This is moving towards Lakewood Park, St. Lucie Village, and Vero Beach. You've got to get underground if you can. Get to your storm shelter, basement, closet, or bathroom. This is a large and extremely dangerous tornado. This is the worst tornado we've seen today. This is back over just east of, it's on 95 on the north side. It's on the west side of Fort Pierce. It's heading towards Lakewood Park. This is a massive tornado, guys. Huge debris signature right over I-95. You've got to be in your safe place. Get underground if you can. Get away from windows. Get on the lowest floor possible.
This is an emergency alert.
Huge tornado.
A large and strong tornado.
There is also a new PDS tornado warning for those now
immediately.
in just west of Riviera Beach near 710 near Delta. You need to seek shelter if you're in that warning. But guys, we got a huge tornado right now near 95. That is going to be, we just saw a power flash on one of our cameras. This is a camera from FDOT. This is live right near this tornado that's on the ground. I'm not sure what the flashes are. I think they're power flashes, but or whatever they are, looks like it. Or either that or the camera's glitching out, but the wind is picking up here. The tornado is in very close proximity to this camera, but this is a huge tornado that is currently in progress, again, near 95. It's just to the west of Sunland Gardens. You need to be underground if you can. This is a extremely dangerous tornado. I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but this is a huge tornado. Like, there's no other way to put it, guys. Got to be in your safe place. Oh, there's a shot of this tornado. Look at this. This is a shot of the tornado. Top right of your screen. You can see it. Huge tornado. Top right of your screen. Top right of your screen right there. That's the tornado. It is a huge tornado ripping right through the west side of Fort Pierce, west of Vero Beach. It is a huge tornado. That's pretty much a wedge. That is live. This is from the Turnpike camera. That is a huge tornado right now near Fort Pierce. This is where the tornado is too. This is like kind of inside of where the tornado is. There are cars pulled over. There are cars pulled over right now. This tornado is like next to this camera. Oh god, we're gonna have a big, this is a big tornado. Right side, it's gonna be at the top right of your screen on this camera in a moment. There's a lot of different traffic cameras. Let me go back to this one. And very top of your screen, that's the tornado. This is again just west of Fort Pierce on I-95. It is a monster tornado here in Florida. This is the worst tornado that we've witnessed today so far. This is going north. Yes, this is a northbound moving tornado. It's gonna be heading towards the Vero Beach area. That is a huge tornado. There are gonna be so many lives impacted.
This is an emergency alert.
And it's an
A large
observed
and
tornado
strong
as well. They just
tornado
upgraded
is
to
on the ground.
observed.
Seek shelter immediately.
Try to see if there's any other views here along the route here. This is the only one that we got that's clear. There's a lot of people in this warning. This is a large and extremely dangerous tornado right now. You've got to be underground if you can. I know there's not really any basements in Florida, but this is a huge tornado. It's approaching Lakewood Park and Vero Beach, Florida, west of Fort Pierce is where this tornado is currently located. Oh my god, that is a monster tornado. This is a debris signature. That is not rain. That is all debris that is being lifted up over Lakewood Park, Florida, or Lakewood Park. There's another Lakewood Park here, but this is going to be approaching the very populated area of Lakewood Park, Florida. That's the tornado right there. This is a monster tornado going right towards Lakewood Park, Florida. This is all, again, live. This is not a video. This is live. Huge tornado, and it looks like we have something else on the backside here. What is that? It's like another, maybe small rope tornado trying to develop there. There's a huge wedge tornado right now moving into Lakewood Park, Florida. This could go tornado emergency. Oh my goodness. If you know any friends or family in this warning, you need to make sure that you let them know. This is, again, St. Lucie County and Indian River County, Florida. Looks like twin tornadoes. I think that's another one that just dropped there. This will probably go tornado emergency. This is a huge tornado. That is, again, a huge tornado on the left side of your screen. It is becoming more rain-wrapped.
All right, so this is from one of the traffic cameras just moments ago. So this is what we're dealing with here. I-95. This is what we're dealing with here near Lakewood Park in Florida. This is a big, nasty, violent tornado capable of flattening entire neighborhoods. Okay, this is no joke. And once again, Lakewood Park is one of the more dangerous places on Earth you could be right now.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I hope everybody in if you guys know anybody in Cobblestone, off 70.
I'd gotten to a mobile home that had been destroyed, and one was deceased, and that was confirmed. And I happened to be talking to some neighbors, and they said, well, he had a girlfriend, there was somebody else with him.
And it lifted the house. It threw him on the ground. I saw him. He was gone. Yeah. And she was in the house over here in the back.
We were like, okay, where do we start? It was so devastated. What part of the structure that we start looking in? I think it actually was a neighbor that actually found her, and her name is Mary. She said she couldn't breathe. We cleared the debris around her enough that I was able to kind of get someone underneath her, and we stopped. The reason why we stopped is because the steel beam that supports the trailer had flipped up over. She was inside the trailer, and the whole thing had come down on top of her. And it was going across her lower back. So there was no way that we were able to free her. I spoke to her. I moved the hair out of her eyes so the rain, wouldn't drip down in her eyes. I covered her face up, to protect her from the rain while we were still trying to get her out. A rescue personnel was on scene trying to get some heavy equipment in and some rescue equipment to try to help her. And due to the overwhelming debris on the roadway, the chaos and everything, they got to the scene too late. She had passed away. The helplessness that I felt, because I'm supposed to help people, and okay, I moved some debris from her, but she was totally trapped, which made me totally helpless. And I've never experienced that before, and that helplessness will probably stay with me forever.
You see these things on TV, but when you walk out and see it, wow, this is the real thing. This is ground zero.
My name is Victor Linero. My grandfather was Alejandro Alonso. This is about him. He lost his life. This ain't about me in any way whatsoever. There's one tornado that went through the trailer park. He FaceTimed me right after, showed me damage. We hung up. I'm like, all right. We were like, things were getting serious. The meteorologist said Lakewood Park Estates, and that's right here. And I called him back. I'm like, hey, take shelter. He started screaming. He screamed, oh my God. And then I heard a big explosion. And then I heard just wind and just like silence. And I got in my car and I took off. And as soon as I crossed and got into the park's property, I walked around his neighbor's house, and that's when I saw an empty lot.
I was tending to Mary by her side, and a gentleman had walked across the canal. He came across and he said, I'm sorry to bother you, sorry to bother you. I was on the phone with my grandfather, and I just heard a boom, and I'm trying to get to him, I'm trying to get to him. I said, did your grandfather have somebody with him tonight? And he said, yes. Her name was Mary. And I just couldn't believe it, that I was with Mary. And I said, well, I can take you to your grandfather.
He escorted me to his body, and that's where I was able to say my final goodbye, and I was able to confirm that it was him. It wasn't supposed to say goodbye, it was supposed to say, hey, let's go to my house, you know? But it was goodbye.
So one question remained: how and why did these tornadoes occur in such a violent fashion? In Milton's case, strong wind shear increased as it approached Florida, and instability in the atmosphere allowed storms to tilt and spin. This created ideal conditions for supercell thunderstorms embedded within the hurricane's outer bands. And this explained why there were so many, but not why they were so strong. Many of these tornadoes were unusually intense for a hurricane. That's because wind speeds at different altitudes were drastically different. This created horizontal spinning air that thunderstorms could tilt vertically, resulting in stronger and longer-lived tornadoes. And the storm was just getting started. As Milton moved closer, forecasts showed a terrifying possibility: a Category 4 or even Category 5 landfall on Florida's west coast. The Tampa Bay and Sarasota regions faced a worst-case scenario involving catastrophic storm surge, widespread structural damage, and long-duration power outages. With just a couple hours out, the forecast models were still fluctuating constantly, and each update bringing new fear about where the storm would strike, with the greatest of these being a Category 5 landfall in Tampa Bay. But as Milton approached, things began to change. Increasing wind shear started to weaken the storm. At the same time, the storm structure expanded, spreading its energy outward. This meant slightly lower peak winds at landfall, but a much larger impact area. The result? still destructive, but not the absolute worst case scenario meteorologists had feared. And on the evening of October 9th, Hurricane Milton made landfall near Siesta Key in Sarasota County as a Category 3 storm.
All right, breaking news. Hurricane Milton has officially made landfall in Florida as a Category 3 hurricane. Maximum sustained winds at 120 miles per hour, pressure 954 millibars, has made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida in Sarasota County along the west coast of Florida. That does not mean the impacts are done. They are still going, and they're still, I mean, honestly, they're still getting worse, especially with the storm surge.
Even at Category 3 strength, Milton was extremely dangerous. Storm surge inundated coastal communities, winds caused widespread damage, and power outages spread across millions of homes.
Piles of debris. I hear something breaking. That's not good. Oh, there's sheet metal in the air. Uh-oh. That is loud.
Conditions do continue to rapidly deteriorate in Tampa as well. Strong winds and heavy rain are causing flash flooding problems. We are getting to the point where we are probably going to start hearing about freshwater rescues here soon. This is a serious flooding event that's about to take place in Tampa.
As Milton moved inland, it weakened, but continued to produce heavy rainfall and flooding. Rivers rose quickly, and streets turned into waterways. While causing all this flooding, Milton would weaken to a Category 1 storm and transition into an extratropical system after going over the Atlantic. Hurricane Milton caused at least 24 to 35 deaths and an estimated $34.3 to $50 billion in damages, with 3,380,000 people without power. Hurricane Milton showed just how quickly a storm can go from ordinary to extreme. With warming oceans and favorable conditions becoming more common, storms like Milton may not be as rare as they once were, and next time the worst case scenario might not be avoided.